Hey, so to start off, I have some molds I made in last week's video, and that one didn't come out right. Now this one, for the main staff I wanted, that didn't come out right. Let's try one more. The arm is in here. That came out great. This was a polyester resin. It takes time to dry, 2 days, but I waited a whole week to open them. The head had drained out, so it was nothing. And so I'm making a new mold that's going to be a top and a bottom, because I'm making the invisible turtle, Donatello. I don't usually like to do the same thing as NECA, so I based mine more off the original one, because I did the Universal Monsters last year, but well, I did like the original toy line, but with 2003 figures. Now I'm gonna do a separate video eventually when I have time, just making weapons and making molds and stuff out of resin, because it's really fun and I want to do a lot more, but I have a lot to do this month with 4 new Universal Monsters, but I wanted to give them a clear head and also a wrapped head. So I tried, this is like my 3rd time trying the head. We'll see if it works. I'm adding a little clear resin to that staff because it wasn't really filling out enough. But now it dries under the UV light. I forgot when I used this plumber's putty before, it works, but I should have put a mold release because it sticks to the resin when you pull it out. That was the best Sai I've made so far. I've made a bunch. But now my 4th try at the head. This time I did like 2mm layers and hardened them at a time, and it was the closest I got. But now I'm using my Dremel to sand the edges off and round over the staff. That's like a clear purple I thought would be cool for him, and I try to sand down the head to make the 2 halves sit together. That doesn't work out. At least I got the arm. So I cut off his regular arm underneath the pad, and it still has its motion because I just cast from there and use super glue to glue that on. But then that's not going to be enough. That's what I'm going off. NECA did like the jacket he's wearing at the beginning of the movie when he's coming through the snowstorm. So I went with the house coat that he wears more of. But now I'm using hockey stick tape. That's what I'm going to make the wraps out of. But I make sure to help the glue out by wrapping the joint where I just glued it, because that's probably going to fall off if I don't add the tape. And if I just bump it a little, the super glue probably wouldn't have been so super. And then I'm just cutting little pieces of this hockey stick tape and just adding them on. Those I tried to make goggles or lenses, but they didn't really work out. So this is the sunglasses from the Raph in Disguise from the Michael Bay movies, and the hat as well. But I turned him into Ghost Rider, so he doesn't need the hat or the sunglasses. I move on to painting with the matte acrylic varnish, the only 2 places that I plan to paint, the hat and the glove hand. And then I did a touch up, a little bit of black, because there was a little chip in the lens of the sunglasses there. I'm doing a burnt umber for my base coat on top of the base coat of matte acrylic varnish on the hat and the glove. And I like the hat. It was a little small. I had to shave it down on the inside, but I don't show that. I move on to Nicolazo Gold. It's by Golden Acrylics, and it just kind of looks like leather when I do it over the brown. So I like that paint. I use it a lot, but just a little bit. But that's the hat. His looks more like a felt hat, but I made mine leather because I can. Now I use a foam clay to make his pants, and I just went over the knee pads, and the rest is going to be wraps from the foot up. And I tried a couple different things to do the jacket, but this material, it's really stiff. It's like plastic over polyester, but the design on it was what I was looking for. And because it's so stiff, it's easy to glue together and to cut and stuff, but then it doesn't really drape like regular fabric would. I really don't like making fabric jackets, because for the turtles, their hands are big, and these turtles weren't really made to like for the hands and heads to come off. So that's, if you do, I mean, I'd probably break it putting it back on. But I went with just some random, like a block of material I found at Walmart. It was the closest thing I could get to like tiny checkers or checkerboard style, and I glue that down and cut that into place. I go around. I forgot to do a pocket, but it wouldn't have really shown in the end. He's angry there. And I wasn't gonna paint his pants, but when it dried, it lost a lot of the impressions that I made and just kind of puffed out. So by doing a light purple and just letting some of the black, it'll make the little indents look bigger, like I wanted them to. Then I cover all his wraps and everything I painted with a matte acrylic varnish to get him ready to wear the jacket. And I have a scarf I cut out of a purple shirt, but then I try to score the inside of the arms so that they'll have a little more flexibility. I don't know if it really helped or not, but it does go on him. So I put it on, and I left the arms like open so it's easier to put it on, and then I'll tighten them after so they wrap around his arm better, because otherwise you have to make the sleeve really big so the hand can fit through. And because the shell is so big, that's why I really don't like making jackets. I'd rather do stuff I can sculpt, but if I sculpted the jacket, I went with this. And I'm gluing the one side to the other side, but not gluing it to the turtle, because I want to be able to change it in the future if I ever have the time. Because, yeah, I don't like making jackets. The turtles, they don't seem to like wearing them. Or at least it's hard. Then I have a strip for the belt out of the same material I use for everything, well, the other lining. And I tied a double knot, and then it came off. A lot of stuff didn't work out with the heads. I had a green material I was going to use, but this is a dish towel that I also bought for the material. I bought that first before I saw the other one, but because it's so thick I didn't want to use it, but I ended up having to use it for the belt. So now he's done. It's a little thing I did in a light box that I built while I was building this. That's with the hat on. That's how I did it. The neighbor kids are crying. You might be able to hear that, but I'm done now. So until next time, remember, always keep your head up. I got 3 more Universal Monsters coming this month. Thanks a lot. Peace.